Welcome to the Fort Lauderdale Real Estate Market Update, Single Family Homes Edition for August of 2024. The median price of a single family home in Fort Lauderdale is now $583,250. This is down year over year from $662,000. My name is Casey Prindle, your Fort Lauderdale Realtor. If you've been considering buying or selling a property in Fort Lauderdale, best and easiest thing to do is go ahead and call me. My phone number is 786-443-7203. It's also right down there in the description. I'm fairly entertaining to talk to. Don't be shy. Honestly, call me sooner rather than later. There's good reasons for it. I can help you position your property better if you're a seller, the longer runway that I have. If you're a buyer, the process is a bit more intricate than most would like to think. And the longer that I have, the more value that I can give to anybody, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side of a transaction. So whether you're considering buying or selling next week or next year, pick up the phone, call me. Let's have a little chit chat, kids. All data will come from the multiple listing service, or MLS. It's going to run about 30 days behind. That's why you're going to see July on the charts, even though we're in August. Nothing I can do about that. It takes about a month to get everything loaded in and make it look pretty. Stick around to the end of the video because I am going to give you guys some of my thoughts on the overall real estate market. A lot of you call and email me asking about that, so I'll go ahead and give it to you. All right, Fort Lauderdale Single Family Homes Edition. You ready, kids? Here we go. Median sold price, $583,250, down 12% month over month. Year over year, down from $662 to $583. Brutal peak here, coming from about $750 in March down to $583. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I have some really nice listings out there right now. One just below 2 million, one 950,000. Those quickly come to mind in the single family world as things in a handful of months ago. I thought, okay, these are good listings that'll move pretty quickly. I'm talking to the buyers that are coming in to see the listings, and I'm kind of trying to gauge temperature for my sellers and asking the buyers, look, are you interested? How motivated are you? What do you think of the price? This, that, and the other thing. And here's a lot of what I'm hearing. Buyers keep saying, well, I want to see the house now, but I'm waiting for rates to pull back until I really get serious. At the end of this video, I'm going to do some further commentary, but look, that's a dangerous game to play. Trying to find prices that are going to go lower in a falling interest rate environment, it's not a really good recipe if you're a buyer, to be honest with you. And I think that sellers, that's going to be, rates start pulling back, that's going to be a net positive for you. But we'll talk about more of that towards the end. Let's move on to total number of properties sold. All right, total number of properties sold. Look, this is one of my two most important metrics, I would say, one of my top two. Because not a whole lot else matters besides how many properties are actually selling, and if you know this about me, and how much supply we have. So look, month over month, we're up 6%. We're towards the bottom of the chart here. Year over year, I think we're down like 6 sales, if memory serves me. Yeah, 156 down to 150. So down 6 sales year over year. Let's call it about flat. Again, we are towards the bottom of the chart here. Stretch, if you want to call it, getting towards the mid-range. I think it'll be really interesting to see what we do fourth quarter here. Interest rates are down about 100 basis points off the highs. I'm curious to see how much that flows through. I think it's going to start really mattering here towards the end of fourth quarter, but we'll see. Again, my word of caution here. Look back, I was transacting in 2019. This wasn't that bad. It was just kind of what you would expect, a little bit longer days on market, but not terrible. So I know sellers like to see us back up here. I don't see we're going back up towards there anytime soon, but hey, we'll keep our eye on it. Average list to sales price. All right, before we get into that, real quick, if you are considering buying or selling a home in Fort Lauderdale, my phone number, 786-443-7203. Call me earlier in your process rather than later in it. It's harder if you bring me in the very end and I have to try to help you strategize and make adjustments when we're towards the finish line. Honestly, that's hard for me. So whether you're thinking about doing this a week from now or a year from now, give me a call. Buyers, if you are too shy to talk to me, which is sad because I'm fairly entertaining to talk to, I promise, you can always just register on my website for a home property search. It'll send me a notification and I can email you. Sellers, look, I was trying to do the automated valuation thing, but all of them are a mess, honestly. All of them are a mess. You can't get an accurate value without just calling me and having me run it down legitimately. If these online estimates worked, then Zillow wouldn't have just about gone out of business trying to buy homes where they were pricing them on their estimate. So don't pay attention to that or don't give it a whole lot of weight. Anyways, I digress. Let's get back to it. Average list to sales price, 96.53%, up a little bit month over month. It does look like we could be climbing on this chart. Now look, sellers want us to be up here. They want us at 98, 99, 100% of listing price because that means they're negotiating very little. The further that we go down in this chart, the more negotiation sellers are going to have to give. Look, this is price specific. Let's just stop and say this here. Our median sold price, $583, that's pretty low for Lauderdale. So if you're just kind of looking at it from a bird's eye view, you're going to have less wiggle room if you're at or below that median sold price. You're probably going to have more wiggle room the further that you get away from it, to the higher side. That being said, I think it still does show, look, 4.5% off your listing price. Sellers are still willing to negotiate. And so I don't want buyers to get too discouraged here, and I don't want sellers to get too unrealistic here, trying just to stick to listing prices and not being willing to move. It's just not really the market for that, but that's what we got there. Median days on market. All right, median days on market, 39 days. Quick recap. Days on market are the number of days from when a property goes active to when it goes pending sale. This is not the amount of days that it takes to close your contract. So if you're on a 30 or a 45 day contract, you have to add 30 or 45 days onto this median number. So round it off and say 40 and another 30 days for contract timeline if it's a real rosy scenario, maybe a cash sale, something like that, then you're going to be up around 70 days. You probably more realistically closer to 85 days. So call it 3 months from the time that you put your home on market until you receive money into your bank account. I am continuously surprised right now to see the median days trending downwards. Look, with sales on the slower end of the chart, I thought we would be higher. Without buyers feeling pressure, which right now they're not, because the truth of it is, even look at this 39 days. If you see a property in July, let's say the end of July, here we are the end of August, there's a 50-50 shot that the property you saw is still on the market, right? So if you're a buyer, you're not overly pressured. When we were back in, the rip-roaring COVID times, just look down here. 12 days. If you saw something on Monday, you had to make an offer by Friday. That's not our case here. That being said, the lower that these days go, the better it is for sellers, right? So, let's keep an eye on it. I'm really curious about days on market right now. I'm really curious to see what the fourth quarter brings. I think it's a super interesting thing to watch right now. All right, median price per square foot up 7% month over month. So it looks like we kind of might be rounding this turn here. Year over year, up slightly from 394 up to 424. So a little bit of a rise there. Look, if you watch these videos every month, just kind of fast forward to the next section because you're going to be tired of hearing this. Median price per square foot, I believe, if you look at this chart, we're up and to the right. I just think it's going to continue to either stay this way or go higher because again and again, people are paying for the good stuff. They're willing to pay for the renovated. They're willing to pay not to have to deal with any headaches. If you put stuff out there and it needs to be renovated and it needs work, there's a much smaller pool of buyers than there were, let's just call it pre-COVID, when HGTV was the huge thing and everybody wanted a fixer-upper. I don't know of anybody outside of these, wholesalers that call looking to pay 50 cents on the dollar for your house. Outside of them, I don't know a whole lot of people that are rushing into the market to find something that they have to fix up. They want it already done. It's not to say that your house can't sell at a good price if it's not fixed up. It is to say, if you need whatever, 50 grand in renovations, you're probably going to have to knock 100 grand off the price. Not saying you're going to get 50 cents on the dollar. You're probably going to land somewhere, 75 to 85 cents on the dollar. Kind of more realistic. And it's all back of a napkin, not specific to your property. Don't call me and yell at me because I gave a general number like that. But look, that's just kind of where I see it. So bottom line, median price per square foot rising. I think it's going to stay the same or go higher because people will pay for the good stuff. Total dollar volume. Ouch. Looking rough here. Down 16% month over month. Since March, we're down like 30%. It's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Year over year, we're down from 180 to 157. But let's think about this for a sec. Click back to the total number of properties sold. So it makes sense, right? Fewer sales. All right. I will throw this out there for buyers once again. Buyers, I think if you look at this chart, to me, again, this says it's a pretty decent time to strike. It's a pretty decent time to come in, look at a property, and negotiate. You have to understand the seasonality of Fort Lauderdale Single Family homes. We lived in Lauderdale for 14 years. I can tell you that this is entirely true. First cold snap that happens up north. What happens to the streets in Lauderdale? Filled with cars, right? Restaurants get packed. Everything changes. Fourth quarter changes a lot of stuff in Lauderdale. January, February, March really changes a lot of stuff. But buyers, you don't have a lot of competition at the moment. You're likely to come up against some competition pretty soon until we get to Thanksgiving. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, it'll tail off a little bit. After New Year's, that's when the uptick happens, just as much as usually happens right around now. So my word of warning. So use this chart to your advantage if you're a buyer. If you're a seller and you call me today and you tell me you want to put your property on the market, we're going to have a discussion about market timing. And this is why I say talk to me earlier. Look, selfishly, as much as I would love for my own bottom line to get houses on the market as quickly as possible, unless there's a reason to throw your house on the market right now, depending on the price point, what your property looks like, and everything else, it may be better to wait until after the new year. That doesn't mean wait to call me. Call me sooner because I need to start game planning with you. I like to be 90, 120 days out. That's what I got there. Month's supply of inventory. All right, before we get into months of supply, if you're interested in buying or selling, pick up the phone, 786-443-7203. That is my cell phone number. I'm the only one that will answer it. Leave voicemail. I'm the only one that will return the phone call. I don't have a team. I don't have a bunch of people working for me. I don't have somebody in another country that's going to answer the phone and take a message for me. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I am a sole practitioner. I take everything cradle to grave by myself. It's very important to me that I do that. It's very important to me that I don't have some kind of a team behind me. I like accountability. I digress. Look, if you think about buying or selling, call me. Please call me sooner rather than later. Honestly, it just helps me, and it's going to help you. More runway you give me, the more benefit you can get out of me. So 786-443-7203. Don't be shy. There's a few thousand of you that get this email that goes out, and then a few hundred of you that watch it directly on YouTube. So I know you guys are out there, and quite frankly, that's how I do all my business. So, thank you to you guys that watch and do call. All right, months of supply of inventory. Here we go. 5 months of supply. Look, nationally, 6 months of supply is considered a balanced market. Less than 6 months of supply considered to favor sellers. More than 6 months of supply to favor buyers. We've gone through this before. Here, I'd say if you look at the chart, about, let's call it a 4-month line, maybe between month 4 and 5. That's about our average. I would say we're slightly favoring buyers here still. But look at how we're curving. If this continues and supply pulls back down, what do you think? Good for buyers or good for sellers? Good for sellers. So if you remember, and if you've been watching this for a few months, you'll remember there were times when we were looking at 2 months of supply and we went up to 4 months of supply in this run, and I kept saying buyers have 100% more choices than they had this time last year. This is a good time to start looking at stuff if you're just looking at that. Never mind if you want to take the run from 2 months up till almost 6 months. But look, if we start to peak and we start getting readings that pull this down, buyers, I think you missed the window. There's no crystal ball in what I do. Anybody who tells you they have a crystal ball, they're probably not working anymore because they foresaw the housing crisis, 06 to 08. They loaded up and they sold at the peak of COVID and get out of here. Nobody has a crystal ball. But look, if this continues to pull down, buyers take it real serious. The less supply that we're going to have, the harder it's going to be for you to buy a home. Now, this is also specific by price point. There's more inventory at different price points, right? That's another thing I want you to talk to me about. If you call me, say, hey, look, I'm thinking about spending $1 million. What does it look like? How's the supply look like there? How many choices do I have? Is it a good market? Is it a bad market? Buyers, sellers, where are we at? Same thing, if you want to call me and tell me you're less than the median price, I'm going to tell you, this chart probably doesn't apply to you. There isn't a whole lot of supply down there, right? But if you have been following me for a long time, you know months of supply is my favorite statistic. What else really matters besides supply and demand? I don't really care what commodity you're selling, whether it's real estate, coffee, orange juice. Doesn't much matter. Supply will tell you everything, right? All right. Final thoughts. Said I would give them. Let's give them. So, NerdWallet did this study or poll or whatever a couple weeks back, and it made a few headlines and it really opened my eyes. They asked buyers who are considering purchasing right now, why haven't you purchased? Why haven't you gone forward? 61% of them said, I'm waiting for rates to pull down. Man, I'm banging the table on this for you guys. If the market gets 61% more competitive, because we're already down 100 basis points off the highs, the bond market, the 10-year, they're not waiting for the Fed. They're already moving. The Fed is now, this revision of the jobless claims was talk about a huge whiff. The Fed missed it, completely missed it. And I've been saying this the last couple of months. They get too slow to act one way or another, and I think they overreacted on rates to the upside, and now they're slow to react to rates to moving them down. That being said, they're boxed into a corner now, right? These prints are brutal, so they're going to have to pull rates down. Now, if you're a buyer, 61% of the people rush into the market at the same time. Do you think that's good for you? No way, man. No way. I get it. Nobody wants to pay a higher interest rate. I'm on board with that. My only thing is, are you willing to pay more on the interest rate to avoid a bidding war scenario, or avoid having to pay an extra $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 because you can now negotiate on price, where if everybody comes rushing in and sellers are seeing multiple offers, you can't negotiate on price, right? Trust me, I'm in the boat right now with the listings that I have where I'm telling sellers, time, I believe, is on your side. Patience is a virtue right now. If you don't need to rush and sell this, don't rush and sell. The market's getting a clearer picture. I think that as rates pull down and more buyers come into the market, it's going to be in your interest to have your listing out there, right? I don't believe you need to slash prices brutally right now. Just my thoughts, man. Again, I've been right very few times in my life. I've been wrong a whole lot. So take what I say with a grain of salt. It's just my honest opinion. Look, final thoughts here. Last things I'm going to say. Once again, call me, 786-443-7203. Call me if you're thinking about selling a property and you just want to know the value of it. You need something accurate. Call me if you're thinking about buying. You're a little bit unclear on the whole picture and what you should be doing. Call me if you just want to talk about real estate. I'm good with that. Call me if you've got some kind of money-moving life event, which is the most common phone calls I get. And that can be change of job, loss of job, inheritance, trying to plan ahead for downsizing, probate, divorce, some kind of distress. A lot of what I do is heart-wrenching, and it's not a whole lot of fun. And I get people through some pretty dicey stuff. But I think that's my value versus just kind of the everyday guy that does a deal or two a year. So give me a call, 786-443-7203. I appreciate you guys, especially those of you that made it to the end of this video. Extra gold star for you. I'll see you guys next month. Take care.